My girlfriend admitted she cheated. I needed a real man, she smirked. My friends took her side. I just smiled, took my keys and left. This morning, my phone blew up with 32 missed calls. Some stories aren't about surviving betrayal. They're about making betrayal survive you. 3 years. That's how long Olivia and I had been together. The perfect couple, or so everyone thought. I'm Jake Harrison, 28, a digital marketing consultant who was about to learn that perfection is just another word for carefully constructed lies. It started on a Tuesday. Not a dramatic night. Just an ordinary evening in our shared apartment in downtown Chicago. Olivia walked in, designer bag slung over her shoulder, a smirk playing on her lips that I'd never seen before. The kind of smile that announces something is about to change dramatically. "We need to talk," she said. Not the words you want to hear after a long day. She didn't waste time with preambles. "I've been seeing someone else," Olivia announced, almost with pride. I needed a real man. Someone who understands ambition. The someone was Jake Miller, a rising executive at a competing marketing firm. Someone I'd actually introduced her to at a networking event last year. My first reaction wasn't anger. It was something colder. More calculated. "Okay," I said simply. Her smirk faltered slightly. She'd been expecting a scene. Drama. The typical emotional breakdown. But I'd learned something important about myself long ago. The most dangerous response is no response at all. When my closest friends found out, they took her side. "She's ambitious," they said. "You were always too comfortable. Maybe you didn't challenge her enough." I listened. Nodded. Said nothing. That night, I packed a bag. Took my laptop. My most important documents. Smiled at Olivia and said, "Take care of yourself." I had no idea what was coming. But she was about to find out exactly what a real man looks like. Revenge is a science. And I was about to become its most precise practitioner. The digital marketing world is smaller than most people realize. Connections are everything. And I was about to turn every single one of Olivia's connections into a potential liability. My first move was quiet. Systematic. I began documenting everything. Every text message. Every email. Every social media interaction that could prove her professional misconduct. An old college friend, Ryan, now worked in corporate investigations. Off the record, I told him during a carefully orchestrated coffee meeting. Each word calculated. Each piece of information precisely placed. Jake Miller, the executive Olivia was seeing, worked at a competing marketing firm. A firm that valued reputation above everything else. I started gathering information like a digital archaeologist. I discovered a pattern. Olivia and Jake hadn't just started an affair. They'd been planning something more calculated. Sharing confidential client information. Preparing to jump ship to a new startup together. My professional network became my silent weapon. Quiet conversations. Strategic inquiries. The kind of information gathering that would make a corporate investigator proud. The most interesting discovery came from an old email chain. Conversations about poaching clients. Discussing how to leverage insider information from our current projects. Colleagues who had once praised Olivia started to notice something was off. Subtle questions. Careful observations. The perfectly crafted image was beginning to crack. I wasn't doing anything dramatic. I was simply letting the truth gather momentum. The most dangerous predator isn't the one who attacks immediately. It's the one who understands that true exposure comes from patience. Olivia thought she was running a perfect con. She was about to learn that perfect plans are often the first to fail. The landmines were set. All I needed was to watch them detonate. Precision is an art form. In corporate warfare, it's a weapon. Over the next 2 months, I became a ghost in the professional world. Olivia and Jake continued their victory dance, completely unaware that I was dismantling their carefully constructed plan, piece by careful piece. My first strategic move involved their joint business venture, a startup they thought was flying under the radar. I knew venture capital firms love due diligence, and details were my specialty. I reached out to Marcus, a venture capital partner I'd worked with on previous projects. Confidentially, I told him during a carefully planned dinner meeting. Casual. Calculated. Nothing direct. The business records became my obsession. Client communications. Project proposals. Financial projections. Olivia and Jake had been clever, but not clever enough. I discovered a pattern of professional misconduct that would make most corporate ethics boards salivate. Stolen client lists. Unauthorized use of proprietary information. The kind of business manipulation that destroys careers. My network of industry contacts became an unexpected intelligence gathering team. Quiet conversations. Strategic inquiries. The kind of information collection that would make a corporate investigator proud. The most interesting discovery came from their previous employment records. A trail of small ethical breaches. Potential conflicts of interest. The kind of professional sins that could unravel entire careers. Each piece of information was another nail in their professional coffin. My technical background in digital marketing became my secret weapon. Late nights weren't suspicious. Detailed research wasn't out of character. I used every professional skill I'd ever developed: data analysis, forensic investigation, strategic planning. The most dangerous predator isn't the one who attacks immediately. It's the one who watches. Who waits? Who plans? Olivia and Jake thought they were running a perfect corporate con. They had no idea I was writing the script to their own destruction. By the time I was done, they would lose everything. Not just their current startup. Not just their professional reputations. But their entire carefully constructed professional facade. This was going to be a masterpiece of professional exposure. And I was just getting started. Precision is an art form. In corporate warfare, it becomes a devastating weapon. The first crack in Olivia and Jake's perfect narrative came during an industry conference, the annual Digital Marketing Summit. I'd been quietly preparing for months, gathering every single piece of evidence with the precision of a surgical instrument. The conference hall was my chosen battlefield. Olivia and Jake arrived confident, their matching designer outfits a shield of perceived professional success. They had no idea the walls were about to come crashing down. I presented the evidence systematically. Stolen client information. Unauthorized use of proprietary data. Unethical business practices. Each slide was another nail in their carefully constructed corporate coffin. Ryan, my contact from corporate investigations, was in the audience. His presence was my silent weapon. Each raised eyebrow was another blow to their credibility. These ethical breaches, I said quietly, pointing to a series of suspicious business transactions, aren't just questionable. They're a fundamental violation of professional integrity. The marketing community watched in stunned silence. The digital trail I'd meticulously compiled told a story they never intended to be told. Overlapping client poaching. Strategic information theft. A pattern of professional misconduct that went far beyond a simple office affair. Olivia tried to interrupt, to spin a narrative. But the evidence was overwhelming. Colleagues who had once praised their business acumen were now looking at them differently. Whispers. Careful glances. The perfect professional image was crumbling in real time. I hadn't done anything dramatic. I'd simply let the truth speak for itself. Some people believe in confrontation. I believe in letting evidence do the heavy lifting. Olivia and Jake thought they were running a perfect corporate con. They were about to learn that perfect plans are often the first to fail. The first domino had fallen. And I was just getting started. Professional reputations are like spider webs, delicate, interconnected, and easily destroyed. Olivia and Jake's carefully constructed professional network began to disintegrate faster than they could manage damage control. The marketing industry WhatsApp groups, LinkedIn networks, and professional forums became a battlefield of truth. Colleagues who had initially supported their ambitious startup started asking uncomfortable questions. The kind of questions that don't have easy answers. My mentor from my previous marketing agency became my unexpected strategist. I always thought something was off, he confided during a carefully arranged coffee meeting. His observations were like precision tools, cutting through their carefully constructed facade. The venture capital funding Olivia and Jake had been pursuing started evaporating. Emails became shorter. Meetings were cancelled. Professional relationships they'd spent years building were disappearing overnight. Professional social media became a minefield. Screenshots of unethical communications. Detailed evidence of client poaching. The perfectly curated professional profile was crumbling in real time. Industry networks began to see the truth. The late-night strategy sessions. The hushed conversations. The pieces started falling into place. Jake's colleagues were the first to truly break ranks. Whispered conversations at industry events. Careful sharing of discovered inconsistencies. Their protective shield was crumbling. I didn't do anything dramatic. I simply let the truth do the heavy lifting. Professional networks began to collapse. Marketing associates who had once praised their innovative approach were now asking hard questions. Investigations were launched. Reputations were at stake. The most dangerous strategist isn't the one who attacks immediately. It's the one who understands that true exposure comes from patience. Olivia and Jake thought they were running a perfect corporate con. They were about to learn that perfect plans are often the first to fail. The professional web was unraveling. And I was watching it come apart, thread by careful thread. Some professional careers end with a whisper. Mine ended with a calculated storm. The formal investigation was nothing short of a strategic masterpiece. I didn't just want to expose Olivia and Jake. I wanted to dismantle everything they had built. My evidence was comprehensive. Corporate espionage. Systematic professional misconduct. Repeated ethical violations. The kind of detailed investigation that would make a corporate ethics board weep with professional satisfaction. Their legal team tried every trick. Character assassination. Claims of professional rivalry. Attempts to paint me as a bitter ex-partner trying to destroy their success. I let the documents speak for themselves. Stolen client lists. Unauthorized information sharing. Breach of professional confidentiality. Unauthorized use of proprietary data. Each piece of evidence was another nail in their professional coffin. Ryan, my contact from corporate investigations, became my primary witness. His reputation for integrity was beyond reproach. His analysis of my compiled evidence was devastating. The industry's professional standards board's decision was unanimous. Not only would Olivia and Jake face complete professional discreditation, but they would be barred from future marketing contracts. The professional network they'd spent years building would be utterly destroyed. Their professional partnerships collapsed. Ongoing project contracts disappeared. Future business opportunities were canceled. The corporate empire they thought they were building crumbled in real time. Their own colleagues began providing additional testimony. Those hushed conversations, those moments of doubt, they became the final weapon in their destruction. I didn't seek revenge out of anger. I sought justice out of principle. The clients they tried to steal, they would now be properly protected. Secured for their original companies. Some people believe in dramatic confrontations. I believed in letting truth do the heavy lifting. Olivia and Jake lost everything. Their reputation. Their career. Their professional standing. Their carefully constructed business life. And I walked away with something far more valuable. Integrity. And a promise kept to professional ethics. Some stories end. Some lessons continue. 3 years after the professional investigation, life looked completely different. My reputation in the digital marketing world was not just restored, it was elevated. The industry had changed. Not just because of my specific case, but because of the conversations it sparked about professional integrity. About the importance of ethical business practices. I'd learned something profound about professional pursuit. About justice. About the kind of integrity that doesn't come from success, but from principle. Olivia and Jake disappeared from the marketing circles. No dramatic exit. Just a slow fade into professional irrelevance. Their attempts to rebuild their careers were continually undermined by the comprehensive documentation of their misconduct. My professional network began receiving prestigious project opportunities. The business community that had once been silent was now speaking up about corporate ethics. The most interesting outcome wasn't my personal vindication. It was the systemic change my case had triggered. Companies started implementing more rigorous ethical guidelines. Background checks became more comprehensive. The business world was becoming more transparent. I didn't feel victorious. I felt resolved. Some believe revenge is about making someone suffer. I learned it's about protecting professional integrity. About showing your true character when everything is falling apart. The phone calls from Olivia eventually stopped. The desperate attempts to explain, to manipulate, to reconnect. I'd built something she could never touch. A life of professional integrity. A career legacy based on truth. Every challenge became an opportunity. Every setback, a lesson. The day I was named Digital Marketer of the Year, I thought about Olivia and Jake. Not with anger. Not with satisfaction. Just with a clear understanding that truth always finds its way. Some people are defined by their worst moments. Others are defined by how they rise above them. I chose to rise.